This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
You know, you probably have heard this before. I'm sure you've even said it at some point. And these are the words. I just want to be happy. That's all I need. I just want to be happy. Okay. How do you do that? How do you create your own happiness? Yes, I said you create your happiness without worrying about others doing it for you, or I'll be happy when, or if, and all of that. We're going to look at that today. Create some happiness here, some positive vibes. She's a transformational life coach. So great to have her back as our professional of the year. She's Donna, and I'm happy every time we get together with her. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm always happy when I get together with you as well. I'm so excited to be here.
This is such an important thing to talk about because many of us, obviously, you want happiness. It's important in your lives, just the joy to feel lighter and just enjoy what you're doing in life. But many of us consider the outside factors before we can have our happiness. Do you find that's true that a lot of us put conditions on it? I'll be happy when?
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, I know I used to a lot, so I will even say I was guilty of that. But a lot of people always turn to like things or goals or people or outside sources or for their happiness. But the reality is you create your happiness. So in order for all those things to flourish and become more abundant and everything, you have to start with what makes you happy, because then your happiness is going to spread into all the things around you, and it's just going to raise those vibrations even more, and you're going to be beyond happy at that point.
Okay, so what do you say to this? Somebody says to you, I don't know what makes me happy. Donna, I don't know. What do I do at that point?
When someone says they don't know what makes them happy, I always say, when was the last time, I'll ask them, that you felt happy, to try to bring them to a place where they had that feeling of it. And then I'll kind of bring it in, that kind of happiness that bubbles up inside, not because of what someone else did or didn't do, but because of something you yourself called forth for yourself, So that's where I try to bring people's minds.
So why don't we role play?
Okay.
And use me as the test subject with this. So just what we said, and I might say to you, and then you said that to me. Well, when was the last time you were really happy?
Yeah.
And I'm being facetious about this. I'm kind of making it up. But I'll say, the last time, Donna, that I was really, really happy was when I took myself on vacation over the summer. I shared with you that was the first time I ever went away by myself. It was just wonderful. Peace, relaxation, reflection by the ocean. But I can't do that all the time. So what can I do to harness the power of what was there in that activity, being away, and make myself happy now?
Well, this is what I'd say is, besides actually traveling and going somewhere else, while you were there, when you were there and what were you doing that brought that happiness on?
I knew you were going to say that. And I agree. So since then, what I've done is I'm reading more. I'm intentionally relaxing more. I'm also listening to more music. When I was there, I would even further dig into songs that I've known, played a million times, but really, really listening to the lyrics with intent, maybe playing them over and over again. What else have I done as a takeaway from that? Just not letting things get to me as much. I just felt like when I was there, that was my mindset. So yeah, spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just let your mind kind of slow and fully focus on where you were at that time, instead of allow all the stuff you left behind come in.
Exactly, because it's not attainable, 24/7. You got to fly somewhere, expense involved, blah blah blah. Not to say I'm not going to do it again. However, if you want to duplicate it, take pieces from it that worked for you.
Exactly. Like that one time I said that when I couldn't walk because of my illness, my boyfriend at the time brought me sand and I put my feet in it in a cookie sheet and played ocean sounds. So one of my happy places is the beach and I couldn't actually physically be there. So I had someone help bring it to me and it was amazing. I mean, it's not the same as the real thing, but it still brought those same feelings when I closed my eyes and, listened to the, audio ocean waves. And, but I got to feel the real sand from the beach on my feet and on my hands, and it was amazing.
There is something there when you either manifest it or meditate on it, where it feels like you're there. And you just brought back a memory. I sold a house a couple of years ago and redid the backyard, and I just what you said. I created an area, I don't know, maybe like 7 feet by 4 feet of sand. I went to Home Depot and got bags and bags of like play sand that you put for kids to play in. And I put all that sand down. I put some seashells, and I treated myself to an artificial palm tree that stays up all year long. And it lasted for a number of years. It was great. It was a me-to-me present. And I would sit in the backyard and on the speakers, and I put a bunch of speakers because I'm a geek. Just love it.
I love it.
I did just what you said. I would play ocean sounds and just sit in a chair, close my eyes, and I would visualize being there. Pretty simple. The bags of sand, were like $10 a pop. The hardest thing was like loading them into the SUV and carrying them out. Good workout, whatever. But it got it done. And side note on all of that, I want to share it because it's like ridiculous but funny at the same time. I would also put on the sounds of birds, just chirping, squeaking, and I would sit there, and it was real sounding. They were real birds, but recorded. Find them on Spotify. Got everything. But you would hear, because it's stereo, you'd hear some chirp, chirp, chirp over here to the left, chirp, chirp, chirp over here to the right. Here's the funniest part of all of it. I'm sitting there chilling out, listening to this recording of birds. The birds in the neighborhood started communicating with my recorded birds.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So I would hear the real birds and the not real birds.
That's awesome.
But it felt like I was transported away, totally free. You just click a button and you're there.
There, yeah, and it's all about creating that space that for yourself, at your home or even finding a spot in nature, so like you can, take time, even if it's once a week to, get, acclimate yourself in that space and just totally, listen to yourself, and, what you were talking about, what we kind of took a step back and you figured out the things, even if you weren't traveling, what about that experience brought you happiness?
Yep.
So it's the same thing. Get a journal, write some things down, things you'd like to do or things that you used to like to do that you haven't done forever.
Isn't it amazing when you start looking at these things in terms of what happiness can look like, that you have these realizations and they could be the minimalist things ever, but they become cool. Like I started, I don't know, maybe once a month, and a friend mentioned this little breakfast and lunch place in town. So I went there. It was wonderful. Got a sandwich, nice hot coffee, sit there, just look at people, just be around people, just doing my own thing by myself. It was like, this is like a little treat, and it's the simplest thing, but it made me happy. And I look forward to it. It's like, maybe next Sunday I'll pop down there, for an hour or whatever it is. If this was 5 years ago, wouldn't even be on my radar. It'd be like, I gotta do that. Isn't it funny how once you're intentional about looking for things that make you happy or could, that life changes. Life changes. It's weird.
Yeah. And they also just seem to pop up easier, like they kind of just like, you'll be scrolling and you'll see something and it's like, oh, and it will, kind of bring you like that would be fun. And then you start looking into other things and it starts more ideas. Or you're out and about and you see a sign or something, or you see someone else doing something that triggers a happy memory. It's kind of, it's
Mm.
fun. It's
It,
signs are around you, all around you, always.
do you think there's anything known as the habit of happiness? When you get in the habit of doing things that make you happy, and now you can't do that 24/7. There's, we have
Oh,
responsibility, although even if you're at work and you're like, oh, I don't want to be here, my boss is a jerk, blah, blah, blah. Um, you can probably find things that make you happy or approach things in a different way that can lighten things up as opposed to, oh, I got to do that report now, blah, all of that. Do you think there's anything that there with habits of happiness?
yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone gets those like doldrum feelings, because I mean, life isn't always going to be rainbows and lollipop. And
Hmm.
when you're in those situations, something I like to do and I always like to suggest to my clients is uh kind of like set your own rewards, like I'm going to work on this for this long and then I get to do A, B, or C, like something that makes you happy. Like for me, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this for this long, and then I'm going to write my blog. And then I'll go back to this. It just depends on things. It could be listening to music. It could be going for a walk outside. It could be, oh, you've been wanting that special pastry for a while. So going and getting that pastry as like a reward, like I've worked on this. And now there's time for a little happiness, and then I'll go back into work. And you have a whole different vibration and energy to you because now you're not like, oh, you're like, oh, this feels good.
I love that, and I do it the same thing. Like if I have an opening during the day, there is a Starbucks a mile away, not even a mile, the next light, and I'll get in the car and I'll just and in summertime, warmer weather, I'll walk down the street, get some exercise, and that's my treat. It's like, yeah, all right, well, I'm available in 2 hours, and that's what I'm going to do. It's just treat yourself, basically.
Exactly. Or you could look at it as celebrating small wins. You could be like, yes, I got this far in this project or in this, file or report for work or whatever it is. Celebrate that. And then, like we were talking about the rewards, it's so you get like
Mm.
two, uplifting energies.
I love that. What else can you share about finding your happiness, creating your own?
So, as I always tell everyone, happiness is an inside job, which is what we were talking about. And everyone's heard this before. So happiness isn't an event. It's not a relationship status. People have to remember that, or a number in your bank account. It's an experience. It's
Mm.
one that you generate from within. And it's nothing you can bring that can bring you peace but yourself, no one else can, nothing else can. Like you're the one who brings your own peace, and that includes your happiness. And then
Mm.
the other thing, there's three things I always say. Happiness is an inside job, so that's the one. And two is release the myth of happiness, the hero. So when I say this, I mean nobody is coming to rescue you. This isn't like a Hollywood movie where you're true joyride in on a white horse or motorcycle. It's time for you to take your power back. When you release others from the job of making you happy, you also set yourself free from disappointment and you reclaim your own creative authority.
Mm.
you know
You,
so
you, I love this, and you said something before about the monetary aspect. It's not about what you have in the bank.
yeah.
It really isn't. The cup of coffee. Here's my little happiness here on a cold day in the Northeast. This is $3.36 for this cup of coffee. Um, Makes me happy. It's just it's a little treat for me. I don't need caffeine. I just drink it just because it's a warm cup of sunshine, if you will. It just makes me happy.
I
And
like that.
$3, $3, $3. It's not about money. It really isn't.
It's about the moment and what you're experiencing in the moment and how you feel in that moment, And that's also why it's so important that we've talked about before. Self-care isn't selfish. it's
Mm,
sacred. You can't pour from an empty cup, which I know we've definitely discussed before. And
sure.
caring for yourself isn't indulgence, it's maintenance for your spirit, your sanity, and your dreams. So that's another key thing, whether like we were talking about a walk in nature, getting a cup of coffee, a moment with a favorite book, or speaking just your mind to your friends and families. Um, it's you're the gardener of your happiness. It's the best way to look at it.
Ooh, love that.
And that
Love
just came
that.
to my head. All of a sudden, I was like,
Mm. Yeah, it's like you plant the seeds of happiness, and you could even just plant them in your head
yeah,
of what can grow from that. Um, hmm. I just find it amazing. Like, everybody's always evolving, whether you realize it or not. And you look back. I know I do it. Tell me if you do it. A year ago, 2, 3, 5. What makes you happy is different now than it was in that time before. You have different standards, different
yeah,
values. It's kind of amazing when you look at that, you
yeah.
know?
It's true, so it's kind of like you're your own author or artist or architect of your happiness. It doesn't have to be a gardener,
Hmm.
and the world doesn't need more people waiting. They need more people leading. And when people are happy and they have that fire, underneath them, that's when you really start leading yourself and others around you, whether you realize it or not.
Well, I think that gets back to the principle of energy and the vibration you put out there. So
Yeah.
if you're feeling good, you put a positive vibration out there, others are going to feel it. They're going to
Yeah.
feed off of your happiness.
Mhm.
It's going to make them happy, but guess what? It's going to make you even happier because
Yeah.
what's going on? Everybody's happy around me. It starts with you.
It does. And like just as you made a point, like when I realized that I kind of brightened someone's day, it gives me an even bigger boost because it makes me happy to see someone that wasn't having a great day and now all of a sudden they're glowing. So it's contagious. It's the ripple effect.
Mm, mm. What else? What else can we do? Let's say somebody's just not finding their happiness. They're not finding their joy. Maybe they're stuck in a rut, if you will. Any other thoughts that we can help here?
So I have a lot of friends like this, and sometimes it's really hard because, like, I'll even work with them and help them kind of move past it. But sometimes when you have past experiences that keep kind of coming up in the present, it's you keep getting pulled back.
Mm,
So that's where you kind of have to take the initiative to connect those dots and kind of work through it so it no longer are like chains holding you down so you can free yourself, and that takes time. It's not going to happen in a day, it's not going to happen in a week. It's going to take some time and you just have to stay committed to it. But the other thing I always say is surround yourself with things that bring you joy,
mm,
people that raise your vibration and energy, not people that weigh you down more, because that's just going to add the weight, especially if you're kind of in that stuck zone, you know.
mm,
But it is one of those things. And when it gets to that, you definitely want to like journal so you can like work things through, maybe even do a vision board. So everything that you want to move towards is right in front of you. And when I mean a vision board, it doesn't have to be this crazy thing. You go on Pinterest and just make a pin board or whatever they're called, of things that make you happy, and that you want to move towards. So you're bringing your energy towards that instead of keep bringing it back to that old feeling that's keeping you stuck.
mm. Maybe take inventory of what you've got going on, and
Yeah,
maybe identify what may be stealing your joy. It could be
yeah.
somebody that maybe either need to eliminate or reduce your connection to them. You might
Mhm.
not even realize it, but they may be taking from you your happiness.
Exactly. So
Mm,
that's why it's so important. Like, if something's making you feel drained, or if you get like that funny feeling in your stomach, to kind of walk away from it. And I always say it doesn't have to be forever. but it will help lift your spirit. And when your spirit is up, that's when you're going to start having that fire in you to move towards the direction you want to go and not feel like you're so burdened and held down and can't get past that. And also, it's key to remember baby steps. You don't have to do drastic things, just the smallest steps, and keep moving, and keep that momentum going. It will kind of bring you out. You just got to be consistent, So one thing I could say, what do you call it, in the morning, like just instead of picking up your phone first or checking that email or listening to someone that you live with or anything like that, think about one thing that you could do that day that would bring you happiness. And it could be as simple as going to get your cup of coffee like you like to do, and just kind of hold on to that and, make sure you do that before the end of the day. And just by doing one thing each day that brings you a little joy, you're going to build that consistency and it's just going to become a natural habit.
It sounds like that, the habit of happiness. That's what
exactly.
it kind of, and I'm seeing here the pattern of self-care and how that invariably brings on the happiness. Is it really, you're not going to be fully happy unless you practice self-care. Would you say that's reasonable to think?
I would. At one point I would say no, but the more and more that I do it myself,
yeah,
I see the results of it, because I always spread myself too thin. I used to always spread myself too thin, and I would always put my things off to help other people. And now that I'm balancing that, I'm like flourishing instead of just remaining kind of, stagnant. So, it definitely is true. And it does start with you. If, I always say you should be in love with yourself before you're in love with anything else, because that will, bring that even to the, higher vibration and stuff.
I'm on your page with that. Like all of this, and especially the self-care thing, where I've gotten to the point, if I don't do something for myself, maybe on a daily basis, it could be the littlest thing, or something, substantial in a week. What's that? Let's see, go for a drive, go for a massage, whatever it is. I actually feel like I'm cheating myself.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, wait a minute. I gave to everybody else here, time and everything. Wait, what do you do for yourself? Wait, hold on a second there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that little breakfast nook and have something. It could be as easy as that. You got to eat anyway. So turn it into something that's fun. For me, that's, kind of a treat, a little destination. I don't do it every day. It's waking up on a Sunday and getting in the car and just driving there and just having some peace and quiet. Whatever it is, happiness looks different for everybody.
Exactly.
Love it.
But it's so true, and it comes within. And when you first start, if you're not used to more self-care, it does feel selfish. But as you do it more and more, it becomes what you were saying. It almost feels like you're cheating yourself. And that's a good thing, because you should be loving yourself and, doing special things for you, not just everyone around you,
No guilt. No
exactly.
guilt.
No guilt.
Let that go. Donna, how do you walk the journey with somebody? This is just a part of the coaching that you offer. How do we find you?
On my website is the best to do a complimentary strategy session. And that's www.donnadaytlc.com. You can also email me at donnadaytlc@gmail.com. Or you could call or text me at 201-719-6991.
Always great talking with you. I love your energy, your positivity, and it's genuine. It's real. You don't put on a show. You're you. And I love it. Habits of happiness. Let's practice it.
I love it.
Thank you for being here today. We'll talk soon, okay?
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.